Act 1. The Refusal ***. The sharp voice of authority sliced through the cool air of the assembly hall. "Why aren't you saluting the general?" The command echoed like a lash, sharp and public. Rows of soldiers stood at attention, the sound of boots clicking in unison still reverberating. One figure remained still, arms at her side, posture rigid, unflinching. She was a young woman positioned at the back of the hall. Her uniform bore no rank insignia, just a standard tech support patch. Her hair was tied neatly, her eyes straight ahead, not defiant, just unmovable. Her name was Jade Nguyen, 29 years old. Petite. Quiet. Meticulous. The whispering started in waves. "Who is she?" Asterisk. "Why isn't she saluting?" Asterisk. "Is she even military?" Asterisk. A lieutenant near the front barked. "Civilian or not, stand at attention and salute the general." Still, she didn't move. General Gregory, the decorated war hero with 3 combat tours and a wall full of medals, walked into the hall flanked by his entourage. The ceremony was meant to be routine: tour the base, give a speech, record a promotional clip. But the tension was unmistakable, rising like static. Puzzled by the murmurs and the visible gap in salutes, the general approached the silent figure. His voice dropped to a measured but firm tone. "Is there a problem here, specialist?" Every head turned. The silence became almost holy. Cameras were rolling. Jade Nguyen met his gaze evenly and spoke just 7 words. "You left my unit to die, sir." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Even hardened officers blinked. A low murmur surged again, but no one dared interrupt. The general stood still, his brow furrowed. "I don't recognize you," he replied slowly. "What unit are you referring to?" Her answer came as steady as her breath. "Raven 12. Firebase Red Echo. October 15th, 2016. A ripple of dread swept through nearby officers. The date and designation struck nerves, old scars reopened by a single sentence. A major swallowed hard. One aide leaned to whisper into the general's ear, but he waved him off. "I don't recall that specific operation." "You should," Jade replied softly. And then the silence returned, not the quiet of formal ceremony, but the heavy quiet of reckoning. The truth had been spoken in front of everyone. Not loud. Not angry. Just undeniable. Act 2. Ghost in the Backroom ***. Jade Nguyen had always been a background figure at remote tactical base Bravo. She arrived before sunrise. She calibrated training simulations. Cleaned the range. Repaired jammed comms. Checked ammo logs. Delivered inventory reports. Flawless, thankless work. Most assumed she was a civilian contractor, maybe an assistant. She never corrected them. Never raised her voice. Never sought recognition. Some of the younger recruits called her asterisk. The ghost in the back room. Asterisk. She never laughed. Never joined lunches. But her work was perfect. Consistently. She could repair a targeting array blindfolded. New ballistic patterns. New radio encryption codes from memory. But the truth was hidden in plain sight. After the assembly incident, Thompson, a young analyst, grew curious. He started digging. He found a few disconnected logs. Then a partial after-action report, classified, fragmented. The file described a recon unit named Raven 12, 6 operators embedded deep behind enemy lines for long-range surveillance. Code names. Blood types. Coordinates. All standards. Then, extraction rerouted to a higher priority site by override order. The override? Signed by then Colonel Gregory. Final mission status? Total unit loss, ***. But one detail stood out. Unverified survivor account. Jade Nguyen. Status, unreliable witness due to trauma. He dug deeper. A medic remembered something. A woman had crawled into base 2 days after the mission. Half-burned, carrying the team's dog tags. She babbled about being abandoned. command said she was hallucinating. Then nothing. She vanished. Until she reappeared. Quiet. In a different uniform. In logistics. Jade wasn't a ghost. She was erased. Her silence wasn't shyness. It was survival. She hadn't just worked in the background. She had lived there, because speaking out once got her labeled unstable. So she let the world forget her. But she never forgot her team. Act 3, The Reckoning ****. The next morning, a closed-door meeting was called. Inside the room, General Gregory, senior staff, base commanders, a few intelligence officers, and Jade. The atmosphere was brittle. The general began. I've reviewed the available records. I don't recall leaving anyone behind intentionally. I trust my decisions were made based on available intel. She interrupted, not with words, but with evidence. From her coat, she pulled out a charred metal ID tag, Captain Martinez. She placed it gently on the table. Then came a notebook, yellowed, torn, but pristine in its handwriting. She flipped it open. Each page was a grave. Sergeant Williams. Shrapnel to the chest. Died shielding the radio operator. Corporal Chin. Collapsed lung. Held the perimeter for 6 hours. Private Rodriguez. 19. Bled out telling me to tell his mom he was brave. Specialist Kim. Used the last medical supply to stabilize me. Died beside me. Private Thompson. Promised to make me remember. The room remained frozen. She flipped to a radio transcript, written by hand. Raven 12 to command. 3 Kia, 2 critical. Request immediate medevac. Grid 41 SMB 12, 345. Asterisk. Reply, redirect to 54,321. Higher priority elsewhere. Out, asterisk. That second grid? 12 kilometers away. Through enemy territory. With no transport. You made a tactical decision, she said, her voice still even. I understand. But 5 people died because of it. And I've carried them ever since. No one spoke. Then, slowly, General Gregory stood. For the first time in his storied career, he saluted her. She didn't return it. She just nodded and walked away. At the door, she left the notebook and dog tags behind. Act 4, Echoes of Recognition ****. Jade didn't ask for consequences. She didn't demand justice. She walked out of the room and went back to her job, checking supply crates and repairing misfiring sensors like nothing had happened. But everything had changed. The story began to spread. Not through official memos. Through whispers. Respectful silence. Reconsidered glances. Soldiers began seeing her, not just the uniform, but the burden she carried. The ghost had become visible. Thompson ****, the analyst, quietly circulated his findings to a small group of trusted officers. Those who once ignored her now paused when she passed. The same lieutenants who had once scolded her now stood a little straighter in her presence. One morning, near the base entrance, a memorial wall appeared. No press. No announcements. Just a black stone plaque. 6 names. An emblem. Below it engraved. They held the line. She walked it home. General Gregory had funded it himself. He also worked, quietly, discreetly, to amend the official record. For the first time in nearly a decade, Raven 12 was no longer listed as lost without recovery. Their valor was acknowledged. Jade's report, once discarded, became the basis for that correction. She refused every invitation that followed. A keynote at a leadership seminar. A veterans gala. A military academy convocation. Her reply was always the same. Let those who didn't return speak instead through how we serve. Her locker, when later opened by maintenance staff during an inspection, revealed a series of personal items. A patch from Sergeant Williams. A red ribbon from Rodriguez. A challenge coin engraved with Chen's initials. A bundle of old letters from family members of the fallen, mothers, brothers, spouses. each addressed to her with thanks for remembering. Each item was wrapped carefully in cloth. Each one was treated like sacred relics. She had been their unofficial memorial, one quiet woman, living proof of 6 silent stories. ## Act 5, The Quiet Departure. Then, one morning, Jade Nguyen was gone. No parade. No farewell ceremony. No goodbye speech. Just an empty desk and a simple note left behind. I'm not disappearing. I just needed the truth to stand, even if I walk away. The mission is complete. No one knew where she had transferred. Her personnel file was updated with a generic entry. Reassigned, classified location. But over time, stories began surfacing. A logistics tech at a forward operating post said a new arrival had helped rebuild a damaged comms tower within an hour. Another soldier recalled a quiet woman who fixed their targeting software before sunrise every day. A contractor said a petite tech refused recognition for rerouting their convoy out of an ambush zone. Different bases. Same pattern. ***. A woman in a standard-issue tech support uniform. No rank. No fanfare. Always early. Always quiet. Always precise. Some began calling her ***, the walker ***, the one who carries weight so others don't have to. Others just remembered her as the one who never stopped serving, even after the world stopped seeing her. Back at Tactical Base Bravo, every October 15th, 6 small American flags began to appear at the foot of the memorial wall. No one claimed credit. No one had to. Everyone knew. ## Act 6, The Weight of Silence. Jade Nguyen's story wasn't taught in textbooks. It didn't appear in the news cycle. It wasn't captured in medals or promotion lists. But it lived in the quiet corners of every base she touched. A junior lieutenant once approached a seasoned commander, puzzled. She doesn't salute. Don't smile. Doesn't speak unless she has to. Why does everyone treat her with so much respect? The commander replied simply. Because some people salute with their service, not their hands. And she's done more than any of us will ever know. Those who worked with her began to reevaluate their own assumptions. The young analyst Thompson, once focused on data, became a field advocate for recovering erased service records. A major who once dismissed Jade's technical reports now led seminars on the value of non-combat personnel. Even General Gregory shifted, his future speeches more reflective, more accountable. He never publicly spoke about Jade again. But in private correspondence with senior military leaders, he referred to her simply as the one who reminded me what command really costs. Across multiple installations, commanders began re-examining long-dismissed after-action reports, looking for other names, other stories buried in classified silence. Jade had started a ripple, all without saying another word. ## Act 7, Legacy Without Applause. Today, Jade Nguyen remains a mystery to most. But to those who served near her, she became something more profound, a standard. The standard of integrity without audience. The standard of service without reward. The standard of remembrance without applause. Her story spread not through headlines, but through the behaviors she inspired. A mechanic triple-checks a system's readout. A sergeant who makes sure no one eats alone. A rookie who walks back to the range to clean up after others. Not because she asked them to. Because her presence changed how they saw their own service. She became the ghost who haunts not with vengeance, but with quiet honor. The kind that never demands, but can never be denied. Some say she still walks the perimeters of forgotten bases. Still logs ammo. Still repairs radios. Still remember. Her salute wasn't withheld in protest. It was withheld in memory. A tribute not for the living, but for the fallen. And when someone asks, why didn't she salute the general? There are those who will answer. Because she saluted something more important, the truth. Final call to action ***. Speech Balloon Act 1 CTA. Have you ever seen someone kind be ignored or disrespected? Comment ***. That's unfair. Speech Alone Act 2 CTA. Have you ever judged someone without knowing what they've survived? Comment asterisk asterisk. I was wrong. Speech Alone Act 3 CTA. If you were ever helped by someone who got no recognition. Comment asterisk asterisk. I owe someone. Speech Alone Act 4 CTA. If you believe quiet truth is louder than applause. Comment asterisk asterisk. I will live with integrity. Speech Alone Final CTA. If this story moved you. Comment asterisk asterisk. I see you. For everyone who serves in silence. Asterisk asterisk.